For buyers that can't decide between curvaceous lines or a blocky look for their next vehicle, why not both? Hyundai's Ioniq 6 manages to successfully fit a square peg into a round hole. I've driven this EV at the press launch in Phoenix, Arizona, and liked it enough to grab one for a full week. Better to measure its usefulness in real-world range. That's hard to do with only 7 or 8 hours in a strange city. No doubt the swept Streamliner design pegs the polarization meter at both sides of the spectrum. I'm a fan. There are too many boring cars in the world. Think Infiniti J30 and Porsche 911 Turbo S, if they made it. There's been pricing volatility in the EV segment recently. Part of it is due to the supply chain shortage easing. Also, there are a lot more electric vehicles to choose from. Competition, it's always good. You have to pay attention to price cuts, rebates, and the ever-shifting tax credits, both federal and state. An Ioniq 6 starts at $43,500 for a base SE model that's rear drive. This is a fully loaded all-wheel drive limited. Its stickers for $54,700. As I speak, there's a $7,500 rebate happening. Who knows how long it'll stick around? It might shrink or grow until the plant in Savannah, Georgia starts pumping out EVs towards the end of 2024. This does not qualify for Uncle Sam's tax credit. Check with your state. If you're cross-shopping, always a good idea. Look at BMW i4, Polestar 2, and of course, Tesla Model 3. Powertrain highlights? Well, it's built on the well-regarded 800-volt architecture eGMP platform, same as Ioniq 5 and Kia EV6. The lithium-ion pack is rated at 77.4 kilowatt-hours. Under ideal conditions, using the right DC fast charger, it'll juice from 10 to 80% in as little as 18 minutes. Impressive. A rear-drive 6's range is rated as high as 361 miles by the EPA. With all-wheel drive, this one is supposed to get 270 miles or 435 kilometers. As for the frunk situation, it's big enough to stash a mobile charge cord or a gym bag. Drivetrain components are packaged here instead of here. I know I'd use this space more, my backpack just fits. The all-wheel drive Limited that I'm driving makes 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque to move a 4,600-pound vehicle. There's a smidge of visual and audible drama. On startup, graphics are clean and configurable. The single-speed transmission selector mounted here saves console space. Recuperation drag is adjustable. This paddle lowers it, this one adds it. The range is wide. Everyone should be happy. Drive modes sharpen or relax throttle response and steering weight. Dampers are fixed. EVs aren't just about eliminating emissions. They can be better cars, plain and simple. I mean, instant torque off the line. What enthusiast doesn't love that? Plus, dual-motor all-wheel drive really helps on wet, slippery roads like today. This will shoot up to 60 miles an hour in 5 seconds flat, no sweat. And it does it so effortlessly that it's really easy to find yourself 10 or 15 miles over the speed limit, maybe 20. Ask me how I know. I prefer the hatchback utility of Ioniq 5, but its driving dynamics veer towards soft and floaty. The 6 is more to my liking. This suspension is firmer, with more control. It's a bit lower to the ground, too. The seat of my Levi's feels the center of gravity is dropped. Cornering is more fun. I've said before that I feel the Ioniq 6 is kind of the poor man's Porsche Taycan. This is literally a third the price. And yeah, the Porsche has better driving dynamics, but this is not bad. It corners relatively well. Not much body roll. There's some semblance of road feel. Steering weight is good. It builds progressively. A feature that I like, found on higher Hyundai trims, is the blind spot camera. Overall, Ioniq 6's visibility is fine, kind of compromised rearward though. This system adds an extra layer of confidence, a digital wingman.
I like that the volume of the performance tones can be adjusted. Listen. I like my EVs to be completely quiet. You can turn it all the way off.
The suite of ADAS active safety is quite comprehensive. Highway Driving Assist 2 is an excellent semi-autonomous technology. It's not true hands-free driving like Super Cruise or Blue Cruise, but it's confident in the lane, taking gentle curves without issue.
The pedal feel transition between recuperation and the physical hydraulic brakes is smooth and natural, very nicely done. Back the regen off all the way, and this thing will coast forever. Dial it all the way in, and it comes to a complete stop all by itself. I haven't touched the brake pedal, so one pedal driving, definitely a thing here. Something for everyone.
The infrastructure is growing, but still not so great in more rural areas. For people on the fence about getting an EV for travel, before buying, map out your most common routes first to see how good the charging network is. ChargeWay is a great app for that.
Range. I'm driving an all-wheel drive limited model, and the EPA rates it at 270 miles. It's been cold and wet in the Pacific Northwest in the low 40s, and I'm seeing closer to 225 or 230. Now, you can add 35 miles of range by going with the rear drive model, and that drops the price by $3,500, but it is less powerful.
Electric vehicles aren't for everyone. Really, home charging is needed for an optimal EV experience. Ioniq comes with 2 years of complimentary 30-minute charging sessions at Electrify America stations. The 6's max charge speed is an impressive 235 kilowatts, but only if the charger can deliver it. For example, the high-speed station that I wanted to use is down. Most terminals near my house peak at 150 kilowatts. The top delivery on these is 50 kilowatts. So a 10 to 80% charge would take an hour and 13 minutes versus 18 minutes for a 350 unit. A reminder that Tesla's supercharging network is opening up to all EVs. The next step would be to make the locations more pleasant and safer with better lighting. I wouldn't want my wife or daughter juicing up here.
I mean, really, who wouldn't want to hang out here under a freeway overpass at night with no lighting?
Every gas station I've been to in the last 10 years is sheltered from rain and snow. Hint, hint. It's getting dark enough to show the ambient lighting, which can be dramatic depending on the hue dialed up. At home, using 240-volt level 2, this will fill from 5 to 10% in around 10 hours or while you sleep. The onboard charger is rated at 10.9 kilowatts. The interior is also available in black, which doesn't show off the ambient lighting as well. There are a lot of recycled plastics in here. Old fishing nets, maybe that Dr. Pepper bottle you tossed last year. Translucent panels, those are cool. This ridge is one long door pull. There are no buttons here. All the window and lock controls are down the center. The roomy space looks good, elevated with materials a grade higher, and it would truly compete with luxury brands. That's what Genesis is for, I suppose. All but the base model seats are covered in H-Tex hide from synthetic cows. Limited's chairs are heated, vented, and comfy enough for even larger drivers. The wheel is leather and toasty. This is the largest sunroof available. Would love a panoramic panel in this car. The 8-speaker Bose system is solid. Audiophiles will want more oomph. Ioniq 6 has full OTA update ability. If you've been in an Ioniq 5, the layout will look familiar. It's pretty easy to use.
Normally, at this point, I'd be explaining that for full functionality of the user interface, you have to pony up for a monthly data plan, but Hyundai now throws that in for free for the life of the car as long as you're the original owner.
and it'll update the map data for 3 years. Most manufacturers only do that for 1, if at all. Let us now pause and appreciate that there are the right amount of hard controls for easy access. All but the base standard range 6 get a heat pump for the HVAC system. The newest Hyundai models with built-in navigation finally get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. For now, a cord is still needed in Ioniq 6.
I have a friend that's 6'3". He rode back here and didn't have any issues at all. I am 5'9" and find the headroom to be maybe a skosh tight. A reminder that everybody's leg to torso ratio is different. You need to sit in a vehicle to see if it works for you. Knee and legroom are very generous. Footroom might be a little bit tight if your legs are really long. They don't go underneath the seat. The roofline of the Ioniq 6 is very swept, and so getting in and out means you need to duck a little bit. But the door openings are big enough so that car seats go in and out, no problem. People can get organized, and the ambient lighting that's up front is back here as well. The floor is bolt flat. That helps with footroom. No separate climate zone in the back. At least there are adjustable vents, places to charge your phone, and a little bit of storage here. Oh, and you can actually power a computer back here. Plus, there's a Wi-Fi hotspot. A cool trick I don't remember seeing in any other vehicle when the belts aren't being used, they don't bang around. I'm a little surprised there aren't heated seats in back. The bench is wide enough so that you can get 3 adults back here pretty comfortably, though the middle position is raised up a bit. Put the shorter person there. Ioniq 6 holds 5 pretty well.
The great thing about the Bionic Dolphin styling is people know immediately if Ioniq 6 belongs in their collection of modern art or should be killed with fire. Either way, it's concept car level design, and I'm happy to buy a round of drinks for the product planners and executives that greenlit this sedan in a world that buys mostly SUVs. Good to see a company take chances. Lines and seams get busy in places, and the practical Midwest raised boy in me would rather see a useful hatch. But my armchair engineering skills figure these are structural necessities. Hyundai counts over 700 pixels in and on the car. Sounds like a job the intern had to do.
There are kick-to-open tailgates, and then there's the system that Hyundai uses. You just stand next to the trunk for a while, and it opens automatically. Now, people buy SUVs and crossovers because they're practical. They haul a lot of kits, and there are sedans that have large trunks. Ioniq 6 isn't really one of them.
This is 11.2 cubic feet, less than some 3-row SUVs behind their back seats, and I complain about that. No spare tire either. The designers got their way. The tail's shape and the 2 spoilers on the back make this among the slipperiest vehicles today. The coefficient of drag is as low as 0.22. The seats might fold, but the opening is narrow. I will admit being duped. Eyeballing it, I figured 4 packs of softness and absorbency would fit, tops. Turns out I can get 5 in without squeezing the Charmin too much. Is that ad slogan still a thing? Mr. Whipple, are you still alive? Probably not. Okay, let's move on to red light, green light. Green light. The svelte Streamliner shape is museum-grade sculpture. The cabin with dramatic ambient lighting is spacious, both front and surprisingly the rear. The fast charging rate and range in warmer temperatures is road trip worthy, especially the rear drive long range model. The driving dynamics sport to comfort ratio is ideal for mainstream buyers. Yellow lights? That DC fast charging rate depends on the right terminals, of course. A car this dramatic deserves a panoramic glass roof, heads-up display, and a top-shelf sound system. Rear seating is roomy in most regards, but tall friends will prefer the front seats. Red light. Hyundai has a better interface experience in some of its other vehicles. Hope that comes to the 6 soon. The Streamliner aero efficiency means asking friends to borrow their Tahoe or Suburban occasionally. No federal tax credit for buyers, but there are rebates and soon, possibly, Made in America status. More choice is always good. Increased competition means better pricing. EVs have become less expensive over the last couple years. Add to that reduced fuel costs, no oil changes, and much longer brake life. The savings just keep adding up. EVs work very well for many people.
Ioniq 6 isn't for everyone. For starters, it's a sedan, and people aren't buying those the way they used to. Plus, there's the polarizing design. Only you can tell if you love it or hate it. But the driving dynamics are terrific. It's priced right. There's loads of features and tech. You can only understand this vehicle once you get behind the wheel. I highly suggest it. Go test drive it.
No other car offers future-forward styling like this, at least not at the price Hyundai is asking. Looking for something bold? This Ioniq has 6 appeal. There's a lot of misinformation about electric vehicles, some of it intentional. I'm not sure why that is. It frustrates me. Not because I think everyone should drive an EV. I don't. They don't work for everyone just yet. It's just that people that could benefit from them are losing out. EVs have some real advantages. I'm an advocate for buying the car that works best for you.
It's kind of a fun car to photograph, huh?
Yeah, a lot of lines.
Ladies, gentlemen, Martin Campbell. He drives while I shoot running footage. I'm wearing a jacket because usually I'm outside shooting, and there's been rain squalls off and on this entire shoot. Continuity.
Many of you know I'm planning on buying an electric vehicle. For what it's worth, Ioniq 6 is on my shortlist. The design and value proposition is strong. An SUV or hatchback would be more usable, but again, I don't like Ioniq 5's soft suspension. There's so many options, and that's good.
You're here at the very end. If you haven't already subscribed and clicked notifications, I suggest that you do that because Martin and I work really hard to give you the best photography and information. We're very proud of these car reviews, and many of you have supported this channel using YouTube Super Thanks and Venmo. Very much appreciated. I'll leave you with this. Cars get dirty, and when you work around them, your clothes get dirty. I suggest not wearing white. I've kind of trashed this jacket. Hope it comes out. Thanks for watching. That's Driven. I'm Tom Volk.